My name is Elizabeth Gallion from Hampstead Pain Relief. I'm a licensed massage therapist, and today I'm going to show you how to use a vibration tool in order to help distract your brain so that you can put your body through range of motion. And in this case, we're going to focus on the hip of the inner and the outer, so the inside of your hip as well as the outside of your hip. So that way walking becomes easier. If you sit for long periods of time, whether it's driving or at a computer or whatever it may be, this can make it so that your muscles loosen up, and then when you get wherever you're going, A, you can stand up better, straighter, and then B, you can walk straighter without compensation, without compensating. So you've got this black strap. It's got these loops that are on the side of it. You've got the blue balls that come with it that are charged like a phone. It's got 3 modes, which are low, medium, high. The 4th time you push the button, it shuts it off. You put it on for the right setting for you for intensity, and we're going to start with the inner hip. So you have a lot of hip flexors in here. So when you do the inside of the hip, the only really good way to do it that I know of is when you have a surface that is on the harder side in order to give you compressions. If you're on a bed, what tends to happen is the balls will sink into the bed, and then you don't get the vibration, you don't get the compression. So it's just as if you didn't have those. So you might want to pick the floor to be able to do. In this case, I have a soft tie mat. That's what I massage on. So you pick the right frequency or intensity for you, and then for your hips, all right, the inner hip, not on the bone, because that will be sore, but you have different muscles on the inner and outer for where your hip bone curves up and around. So depending on whether you have the upper, the inside, or the outside, these balls have a good distance between them, that what you can do is you can make it so that they are on either side of that bone. And so you're getting vibration on both sides, which is awesome. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the balls on either side of your hip, and you're going to lay down, okay? And I'm going to increase. All right, so you lay down, and you've got it on the upper crest of your hip bone, and this is on either side of the hip bone. So while it's vibrating, what you can do is first, can I make it so that I'm flat on it? Is this comfortable where I'm completely flat? Now, if you need pillows underneath your ankles, that's fine, doesn't matter. If you increase this stretch, it will change. If I've got my arms flat and I bend my back, so to speak, then it will change the stretch. So micro movements, small movements make a big difference. So what I'll do is I'll find wherever I'll rock my hips into it, I'll feel wherever that tightness is, and I'll take a deep breath. And I will literally just let everything drop so that my weight goes right into it, right? And I'll lean into it, right? I've got my hips pivoted towards it. So it's pivoted down and over, okay? So then I might explore, and I might go a little bit lower so it's straddling my pelvis on either side, and see where that feels so that it can loosen, and I'll breathe through it. And I'm literally trying to see that if I pivot my hip, right, so I'm at a slant right now, am I pivoting my hip that way? Am I hiking my hip up so it's going towards my head? Am I pushing my heel so that I'm opening up my hip? I'm moving all these motions so that I can see where does it feel good. Now, if this feels all good and you want to do the next step, another one that you can do to change up the stretch is the same foot that I have it under goes up. Now, if I raise my knee off the ground, that will give me more of a stretch. Now, I can either choose to grab my foot so that I give it support. I can put a pillow underneath my knee so that way I'm not the one holding it up. I can do that too. So if I take a pillow, all right, and I put that under my knee, now I'm not having to hold up my leg, but it does change the angle in which my hip is. So I'm going to move into it to see where do I feel sore. I might lower the ball. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to find the spot that needs the attention. It's calling out, it wants to be stretched. So I'm moving my leg a little bit laterally that way, or I might move my leg a little bit this way. And if I bring my knee out, well, I bring this way to try and touch my foot down to the other side. All of this changes the movement, so I can find that one, it's not usually one spot, but I can find all the spots that are sore, because we have a tendency that all the things we do, like I said, our hip on the inside gets shorter and shorter because we constantly sit. So it's constantly shortening those. So when we go to walk, right, and I bring it back, it goes, oh no, I can't go that far. So I start to shuffle when I walk. Or when I go to stand up from that chair, it goes, wait a minute, you can't stand all the way up, we're nice and short. So by focusing on the inside of the hip first, sometimes you'll find that the lower back pain that you feel goes away, because if you can relax these muscles, its partner feels better because it's not being pulled to the max, right? When we're rounded forward, this is being stretched and this is being shortened. So you make the happy balance between the muscles again. All right, so we've got the inner hip that we focused on. Now what you can do, we've done these outer one when you're seated in a chair, but you can also do it when you're on the ground. So what you do is you take the balls and you find right in the middle of your butt. I don't want it too low, because if I move my leg and it's off, then I put it too low. It's not compressing anything. If I put it too high, it's going to go, it's going to go right along my pelvic bone, and that doesn't feel good at all. So you want to feel it right in between those two areas, okay? So there are different things that you can do for the outside. I can either find more pillows, okay, and I can use a pillow in order to lay my foot across, and I can make it as high as I want. I can even make it so that my ankle is higher than my knee, and that will change the stretch. If my knee is higher than my foot, that will change the stretch, and you'll notice that your hips will rotate depending on which way you go. That's normal and that's natural, all right? And the whole point is to let go. So I can take a nice deep breath, and maybe I make it so that the pillow is so that my foot is higher than my knee, and I breathe out that way. And the whole point is I'm trying to drop my hips so that it sinks right into the stretch. Or maybe this time I want my knee to be higher, right? So I've got more pillows under this one so that my knee is higher than my ankle. Another thing that you can do, notice how it's the same leg as the same side that the ball's on. So when I do my left leg, it would be my left leg that I'm moving, all right? So I've done it where my leg is straight, like it's level. I've done it where my ankle is higher than my knee, where my knee is higher than my ankle. Now another one I can do is I can cross my leg over, all right? And again, if I need to, I can put a pillow under it so that my knee doesn't feel, none of this should feel like there's any pressure, bad pressure in your hip or your knee, right? It should feel comfortable, just like a really good stretch. But you could put one leg on top of the other. Okay, so my ankle is just resting on my left leg in this case, and I'm just breathing through this. When this gets to be that it's not sore at all, right, and I've got the ball right, actually I have to move it because it moved. I place it back where I want it, all right? So I've breathed through 3 cycles of being here, and now maybe I get the pillow out of the way and I let my knee drop. That'll give me a different stretch if I let my knee drop while my foot is still, my ankle is still on my left leg. Or maybe this feels fine and I don't need that stretch, and so now my foot and my leg is completely laying on the floor as opposed to being up on top of my left leg. So once this becomes nothing, where this foot is just resting, touching my leg, it's not underneath it, it's just beside it. When this becomes not a stretch,
Okay, the next step that I can do here is I can bring my foot out 90 degrees, or 45, I don't know what that is. It's halfway. Okay, halfway. And again, I want my knee to be able to touch the floor easily before I move to the next. So I'll breathe 3 times through this, all while keeping my hips down. So the first position was here, the second position was here. The third position is when you can get your leg at a 90-degree angle and keeping this hip down. All right, so I've got the leg out straight and it makes a straight line that way. It's at a 90 degree. I want my knee to be able to touch the ground easy while this hip is still staying on the ground. And then I might sit through this cycle. And again, your hands can be here, they can be touching, they can be flat, doesn't matter. I'm not really doing anything with my arms. It's all about letting go and completely relaxing into the stretch. So what I do to one side, I want to make sure I do to the other. So in this video, I've only shown you on this side, or for the outside of the hip, I've shown you on the right side. And on the inside, I showed you the left hip. But you would want to do both sides for the left and both sides for the right. Only go to where it feels comfortable. Like I said, pillows are a wonderful thing. So if you need to put them underneath your ankle, if you need to put them underneath your knee, if you need to put them under your foot, you know, and you need to stack them up so that it's loose. The whole point is if you can get to the point where you completely relax into the stretch, then your body's going to trust the stretching that you're doing, and then it's going to let go of what it's been holding, and then you're going to get range of motion increase in range of motion, and then you're also going to get a decrease in your pain. So that's what we're really going for the lasting relief. So then after you're done, you can shut your balls off, you know, reserve the battery, and then you're all good.